Hi there, my name's Olivia. Welcome to my latest video. I like to make videos all about British culture and the kind of things that feel very simple and normal to me, but if you are unfamiliar with them, then they might seem a little bit strange or idiosyncratic or even a little bit eccentric. So do have a look at my other videos. So today I'm here doing an experiment, and actually, gosh, the sacrifices I make for these videos, it's going to be a tough one. Because today I'm going to be testing biscuits. So I have a cup of tea ready because I am a dunker. Alright, so let's address two things before we go any further. Firstly, to dunk or not to dunk, that is the question. I'm definitely a dunker. My dad does not approve of dunking. He says that they go to great lengths to make biscuits crunchy, and I'm just ruining it by kind of dipping them in tea and making them soggy. Well, that's fine, but I like a dunk. The second point that I think we need to address before we go further is the difference between biscuits and cookies. We definitely do have cookies in the UK, and we are quite happy with the word cookie and using it in a sentence, okay? So I went to the supermarket to buy a selection of these biscuits, and while I was there I was like, okay, let's see what they've got, what the selections are. And they have so many cookies that are called cookies. They're not called biscuits. So things like chocolate chip cookies, it's always called that, you know. We wouldn't say chocolate chip biscuits, we would always say chocolate chip cookie. And there's like white chocolate and macadamia nut and stem ginger, and they're all in a separate part of the shelf. And for me, a cookie is a slightly different thing from the biscuits that I will show you now. Partly, I would say that they're baked differently, and they're usually softer. So it's like a soft bake with a little bend in it. So if you were trying to like break a cookie in two, it would slowly bend and it would have a little give, and then it would finally kind of come apart. Whereas the biscuits that I'm going to be kind of getting into in a minute, they're like a snap. So it's like a shorter dough, so like snap rather than a bend. So for me, that's the difference between a cookie and a biscuit. There is some overlap. There's always a bit of overlap. So, for example, Oreos are always seem to be considered cookies, at least from what I've heard. You know, maybe you've heard differently, but I would say an Oreo for some reason is described as a cookie, and yet for me it's actually very similar to some of these biscuits that I'm going to show you now. So I don't know, but cookies and biscuits happily coexist. We have both. There's no envy, okay? We can have both of those things on our shelves. Right, so on to business. This is actually the second attempt to film this video because my battery went. So unfortunately, I've had to eat biscuits, and now I'm going to have to eat them again. I told you I make sacrifices, right? So let's start. I'm going to start quite randomly with, let's see what we can start with. Okay, I'm going to start with a kind of a shortbread. So what I've done, I've actually bought a selection pack of biscuits, but I've kind of ruined the packaging in opening it, so I can't show you. So this is like a selection pack of a few classics and a few unexpected ones also, okay? So this is, I think it's like a vanilla shortbread, and I don't know why it has a hole in the middle. It's just a design choice, okay? Now normally, if I was going to buy shortbread like in a gift pack or something, it would be quite thick. It would be like a huge wedge of shortbread, either in like a finger shape or in like a wedge shape, like a slice, as if they were made in a big round tin and cut up into wedges. This smells really lovely, actually. This smells of vanilla already, so I think there's going to be a strong vanilla element here. So I am going to dunk. Okay. I will maybe rate some of these biscuits as we get through. That's got a good crunch, so it is soft. Like when you dunk it, it becomes nice and like soft and melt in the mouth, but it may well do that anyway. And it's got a very strong vanilla taste there, so they've obviously put in some kind of vanilla flavour into that one. I don't always find that in shortbread, but it's quite nice here. And it's got some like crystallised sugar in the top, so let me show you again another one. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but there's like some crystallised sugar just glistening in the top there. That's nice. It's plain, but it's nice, okay? So what's next? Oh, the humble custard cream, perhaps. So let me show you close. This is a custard cream, and it doesn't matter who produces these, whether it's a supermarket own brand or whether it's like the leading manufacturer. They all look exactly the same. They all have this funny pattern on. It's really beautiful, actually. They're so finely detailed, and all you're going to do is just eat them. And then they have a kind of vanilla flavour cream in the middle, like a fondant centre. So the middle is not so different from an Oreo filling, but it is a little bit more vanilla-y, because that's why they're custard creams. It's like that custardy vanilla flavour that you get inside. So again, I'm going to dunk because that's my way. One of my favourites. The best thing about that, the cream in the middle, like the fondant bit, stays quite firm, whereas the actual biscuit part is really crumbly, and like it's basically just disintegrated. As soon as it hit my tea, it just disintegrated, so it's like a quick in and out kind of a dunk. I really like the ones with like the fondant fillings in. That's one of my favourites. I'll try one more, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about etiquette with biscuits. So where are we going to go? Oh, okay. What have we got here? Right, we have two. Oh, here we go. Let's start with this side. Should have hidden the chocolate side, shouldn't I? Well, let's see. So these are chocolate digestives. So you can get plain digestives that look like this, and they are just very plain whole wheat kind of cookies, not cookies, biscuits, whatever you want to call them. They are a little bit sweet, but they were sort of marketed originally as being a digestive aid and quite good for you. I don't believe they're good for you at all, but there we go. The nearest thing apparently in the United States is the graham cracker. I have never had one, but apparently they're the equivalent. And these, the plain digestives, these are what you would use to make like a cheesecake base and other things like that if you're cooking. But when they're covered in chocolate, they are obviously better. Now look at the difference. Plain chocolate, milk chocolate. There's a school of thought that you should put these in your mouth chocolate side down, so that the chocolate hits your tongue and it like starts to melt, and then you taste the chocolate more. I think that's a pretty good school of thought. I don't think I give it that much attention when I put them in my mouth. I don't care which way in they're going. I just shovel. But the nice thing is with these is that when you dunk them, of course, the chocolate does start to melt. And it gets kind of like this glossy, kind of lovely melted look. Anyway, so I don't know which way I'm putting it in. Maybe I will upside down. I really like the kind of whole wheat flavour. And they're quite substantial. They're quite fibrous. They do feel a bit good for you. Not too sweet. But yeah, chocolate digestives are my favourite. So that was a plain chocolate one. I'm not going to go for a milk chocolate. Sorry, that was a milk chocolate one. I'm not going to go for a plain chocolate one because I've got so many more to eat. I'm just going to start to have like a sugar coma. But the plain chocolate ones are very, very rich. You really can't eat very many of them, even if you try. And I have. So biscuit etiquette. Here's the thing. Any social situation, formal or informal, could call for biscuits at any time. So if you go around to your friend's house for like a morning coffee or tea or something like that, you might want to take something with you. So sometimes, you're invited to somebody's house, you might want to take some flowers or a small gift. Potentially if you're being asked around for dinner, like you maybe want to bring a little bit more of a substantial gift. But even if I was just being invited around for a coffee, I would take some biscuits potentially, or maybe a cake with me. But the thing is with taking biscuits with you is that you get to eat them. It's not an altruistic gift. It's a very selfish gift because you don't know if this person's going to feed you. You're like, well, it's like mid-morning and they probably don't want me to hang around for lunch. So am I going to get any food? So the way to guarantee that you are going to get food is to bring it with you. It sounds so awful, but it's true. And equally, if you're in a work setting, let's say you're at some kind of long all-day meeting or conference or training, And they've got like the table set up at the back with the teas and coffees, with the little tea urn or like the coffee thing, and you can just help yourself. You're going to have biscuits, right? But there is a complex etiquette with the biscuits. No one wants to eat the last one because that seems, selfish and rude. But it is perfectly acceptable to go for the best ones first. So if you see like a tray or a plate and they're all kind of nicely laid out in like a circle or something, okay, and you get like the chocolatey ones like them, or like the ones with the cream filling, and then you get on the other end, you get your plain ones, you're going to go for the chocolate ones, or at least the fancy ones of some description, aren't you? I would. And it's okay to take a couple, so you take a couple of the nice ones. Then after a while, as this coffee break continues, you're realising that there's only a couple left on the plate, and suddenly you're down to the plain biscuits and there's only a few of them. And now you're kind of doing someone a favour by taking the last one, right? Because no one wants this old plain thing. Oh no, are these the only ones left? Oh, no one else has taken them. Oh, maybe I'll just take that. Maybe I'll just take it off your hands. Oh look, you need to take these empty plates away to do the washing up, and well, I might as well, So it's kind of a complex etiquette where the best ones always go first, and then like the plain ones are always left at the end. So yeah, it is complex. It's one of those things that you have to like learn very slowly through your life. But there it is. So there are always biscuits though. There should always be biscuits supplied at long training meetings or conferences or anything like that. So I'm going to go on to another one. Now, I'm seeing something slightly weird in this box that I do not recognise. What is that? Okay, so here's the thing. This is a bourbon biscuit. So a little bit like the custard cream, it has a kind of a fondant centre. So this is like a chocolate flavoured fondant centre with a kind of cocoa biscuit. Now I say cocoa because there's nothing very chocolatey about this. It's quite a bland flavour, but I really like it. And yet, in the box is something that looks very similar at first glance. But what's this? It has a white filling inside. I have no idea what this is. This is not a bourbon biscuit. When you see this white goop inside, this is a pretender. This is some kind of cheap, I don't know what this is. I'm going to try it in a second. And this is your proper bourbon biscuit. And once again, it doesn't matter who manufactures them. They all say bourbon on them, kind of baked in like that. And they all always look exactly the same. They're always this shape. They're always this size. You never get them looking any different. This is a bourbon biscuit and it's classic. This, I've got to try this right now. This fake one. I don't know. I want to know what this is called on the packet. Okay, it's not unpleasant, it's just not what I expected. So the outside is the same as the bourbon for sure, and it's a kind of slightly cocoa-filled, hard, crisp biscuit on the outside, and the inside really just tastes like nothing. It's a bit like an Oreo filling. What are we calling them? A bit bland, to be honest. I'll have a look in a moment. So let's compare that with the proper bourbon. Good old-fashioned proper bourbon. This is richer. This is still not the best one. I've gone for the supermarket own brand everything here. So this isn't like the best flavour, but it's recognisable as a bourbon. As I say, the kind of chocolatey filling, it's the same as the custard cream, like the filling stays nice and firm, and the outside sort of hard biscuit part, if you have dunked it like I have, then yeah, it will kind of disintegrate a bit, but you're left with this nice firm bite. And it is quite a nice crunchy biscuit as well. Bourbons are kind of hands down my favourite of the classic biscuits, to be honest with you. I can eat them all day long. I have a pack at home. I usually have a pack in the biscuit tin. Let me see what on earth those other things are called. Do they have a name? Bourbons, custard creams. Oh, I think that thing I just ate was meant to be I think that I said was really vanilla-y, I think that's meant to be coconut. Might be wrong. Just a second. What, oh no, that was a shortcake, sorry. Oh, okay, I think this is called a dark vanilla cream, that fake one. I've never seen that anywhere. Anyway, I've never seen that anywhere. So that's a whole new thing on me, I tell you. Okay, what else have we got? I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these because I'm starting to feel a little bit ill, but let me at least show you a few. This is great. This is a jammy dodger. So let's see if this is what I think it is. Now, what this should be is 2 shortbread biscuits with a little layer of very sticky jam, like that's really firm. And I'm hoping there's another kind of filling in there. So let me check it out. I'm going to have to eat this one, obviously. Right. Disappointing. Okay. So the jam bit is just in the center. So you get a whole mouthful of like very creamy, crumbly shortbread, and then like a tiny hit of like slightly chewy, fruity jam. I could do with more jam. The good versions of these also have a white fondant filling as well, so you get both. That's a slight disappointment. This is why the supermarket own brand is a bit cheap. Okay, a couple more that I'm not going to try, but I am going to show you. So there's 2 versions of these which are delicious. So I would call these crunch creams. So this one again, kind of white fondant vanilla flavour in the middle. And these are kind of oaty biscuits. And this one has a chocolate flavour fondant in the middle. So these are really nice. These are kind of oaty, and there's a taste of golden syrup in there. So golden syrup is one of those real traditional British store cupboard things. Everybody has it in their larder. I think I'm going to do another video about the basic kind of things that every British person has, like Marmite and Oxo and Bisto and golden syrup. It's a lovely rounded flavour. So they're really nice. They're quite unusual. I would call them crunch creams because one brand in particular calls them crunch creams, and they are meant to be quite like luxurious. But these ones are a little different from the better brand ones, but they are nice. Okay, sort of proper shortbread. So yeah, I think that from what I've just read on the packaging anyway, I think these round ones that I thought were shortbread were kind of meant to be coconut. I didn't know they were meant to be coconut. I can smell coconut, funnily enough, coming out of the box. And I can, now I'm thinking about it, it is a bit coconutty, but the strong flavour was almost vanilla there. So a bit bland, a bit interesting. These ones are kind of the shortbread ones, the plain shortbread ones. And one last thing, not overly exciting. These are kind of like a fruity shortbread. So they've got like little bits of raisins and sultanas and stuff going on in there. I don't know, is that meant to be healthy? I don't know. So you can please do your own research. Please have a go and eat as many biscuits as possible. You will feel very British by the time you've had a good dunk with a biscuit and a cup of tea. I've got a lot of crumbs around me right now. Now, I'm just going to finish this on one last note. A lot of people have a particular favourite biscuit, and I think for me it is the bourbon, but a lot of people rate this as their favourite biscuit. Chocolate hobnobs. So a hobnob is like an oaty, it's like a plain oaty biscuit. Not too different from a digestive in the way that it feels quite plain, it feels quite whole, like a wholemeal kind of flavour, and there's oats in it, and it almost feels a bit good for you if you really use your imagination. Okay, chocolate ones are covered, that like half of them is covered in chocolate, and for a lot of people this is like the king of the biscuits. So if you want to make someone happy, like if you're going to a British person's house, as I say, and you've been invited round for for tea or coffee, or maybe you're staying with them for a couple of days, or you just want to bring a little something, bring some chocolate hobnobs, and I don't think you'll go wrong. I think you'll make a friend for life if you bring these. These are the branded ones. I can't find them like any other brand. These are the good ones, so you might as well. They're not expensive. So a pack of biscuits, by the way, I think this is like a whole selection box I've got with different things in, which was maybe £2 for the whole box. But to buy like something like this is somewhere between 50p and £1.20, and you're going to get a good 15 or 20 biscuits in your packet for that, maybe more than 20, depending on what kind they are. So you can pick up like a packet of bourbons or custard creams for 50p. So if you do want to experiment and have a go and try them, and you're not sure that you like them, 50p, oh my goodness, you can't really do any worse than that. That was the price I saw them at today in the supermarket. Okay. And if you're in a workplace, like an office, a shared office, again, it's kind of like the etiquette that somebody might bring some biscuits in and share them for the office. And maybe not every day, but maybe like on a Friday, or it's your birthday, or you're having a meeting or something. People tend to bring biscuits in quite a lot. So it's a way of making friends, influencing people, and kind of just amalgamating into the culture as well, sort of assimilating into the culture if you want to try that. And it's a lovely way of doing it. There's no downside really. No downside at all. Not putting on weight or anything. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I don't want to keep you any longer. I will try and make some more videos soon. As I say, I think I'm going to do a store cupboard, look in my store cupboard, and I do want to talk about eggs at some point as well. But check out my other videos. I've made one about why we love toast and school uniform, and there are others on YouTube on my channel. So keep watching, stay safe, see you next time.